Hello everyone, my name is Chris and welcome back to another movie review. Today I'm gonna be reviewing Morbius, and as usual I'm quickly gonna go through the story of this movie to tell you in short what this movie is all about. Then I'm gonna share my own opinions and thoughts about this movie, so in case you didn't watch it, one big spoiler alert across the screen, and yeah, just click away from this video to avoid spoilers and come back after you watch a movie if you want to, guys. If you don't want to, you don't have to, it's totally okay. But if you really are interested in my opinions and thoughts about this movie right now, then stay with me till the end of this video and let's get started. Alright guys, Morbius is a movie that's been released this year, and this is yet another anti-hero movie from Marvel Comics about a character from Marvel comic books. And the movie starts off by showing Dr. Michael Morbius, which is the main character we follow in this movie, which is played by Jared Leto, by the way. And at the beginning of the movie he comes to this cave full of these blood-sucking bats, and he's trying to capture some of them for his experiments. And after that scene, movie cuts you back to when he was a little kid, and he's brought to this hospital where people have this blood disease. Apparently a lot of people all around the world have that blood disease, and they have to be connected to these machines that keep them alive. And Michael had that disease since he was a kid, and he was brought to this hospital, and that's where he met this man called Nicholas. He was the one who was taking care of him and all other sick children and people in that hospital. And in that hospital, Michael met Milo, and that's where they become best friends. So Milo became very quickly Michael's childhood friend, and they grew up together. They both had this blood disease, and at one point when he was in hospital, Milo's machine stopped working and he almost died, and thanks to Michael's geniusness and his very smart brain, he was able to fix his machine with the help of a spring from the pen. And when Nicholas heard about that, he was very stunned and shocked how intelligent Michael was, and he said that he will take care of Milo, and he said that Michael needs to go to school and to upgrade his skills, and he does not want to waste his potential that he has as a kid. And he was right. Michael went to school, and he grew up, and he grew into a doctor and a scientist who dedicated his life to helping people, and his goal was actually to find the cure against the illness that he's been suffering from his entire life. So he wanted to find cure for his disease so he can cure himself and all other people and his friend Milo. And then movie cuts you back to when he's grown up, and when he's a doctor you can see him being very ill. He's barely walking. He needs to use the canes and sticks to help him walk. He's very weak, he's very skinny, and he's really struggling to make the cure for that illness. Eventually he comes up with a serum, and he goes and tells Milo that he made it. He actually made a serum for the disease, but the serum comes with a cost because he combined blood-sucking bat DNA with a human DNA, and once you take the serum, well, you pretty much turn into this vampire monster. And that's exactly what happened to him. He provided the test on himself, so he took the serum that he made, and his disease was gone, but it comes with a huge price. He just turned into a vampire, and he got these superpowers. He can move super fast, and he's very strong. He can fly. He can hear a fucking kilometer away, and his radar sense is working. He's very strong, and now he has all these superpowers. But problem is he can't control his thirst for blood and urge to kill. So he becomes this monstrosity predator that kills humans and drinks their blood. Pretty much he's a vampire, and that's what he says to himself. He becomes literally a vampire. and that's where he shapes into some sort of anti-hero. He is aware that he killed these people. Later, there is also this doctor, I forgot her name, but she is the one who helped him make the serum, and she was there when he took the serum. So she survives on that ship that night when he took the serum, but he kills all the other bodyguards on the ship. I mean, there were paid mercenaries who were there to protect the ship and them, and he murders them all. He drains them of the blood, and then later in the news, he sees what he did, and he starts to really feel bad and guilty for what he's done, which makes him an anti-hero. Anti-hero is someone who is not a hero, but he's not a villain either. It's line in between. It's pretty much like Punisher. He's gonna kill and do bad things, but for the greater good. And he realizes that he killed these people and that what happened can never happen again. And he starts to slowly work his way out of that, and he's trying now to figure out how to be a vampire but not having to kill the people. He needs to find a way to keep himself away from blood and killing humans. Eventually, what happens by the end of the movie, he tells Milo that he took the serum. Milo sees him all now muscular and good looking, walking without canes and all that, and Milo becomes very jealous of Michael, and he thinks it's not fair that Michael does not want to give him a serum, but the reason why Michael didn't want to give him serum is because he knows that Milo will become the exact same monster like he is, and he won't be able to control it, and he's just gonna run around the city, kill people, drink their blood. You know, he's gonna be literally a vampire killer out there with superpowers. And unfortunately, Michael's fear comes true when Milo, without his permission, takes that serum and turns himself into one of these vampires. And now, for the rest of the movie, he's just basically fighting him and trying to stop him. And Milo kills all the friends he cared about, all the people Michael loved. And by the end of the movie, he ends up killing Milo as well. So Michael had to stop him and put an end to him. And that's pretty much, in short, what happens in this movie. After credits, there is also a scene where Morbius meets up with one of Spider-Man villains. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how his story is going to continue and what's going to happen there. Overall, I'd say that Morbius was a pretty fun movie, honestly. It was directed and made by the same people who made Spider-Man No Way Home, and I think this movie was great. I actually really liked it, and I really like Jared Leto in this anti-hero role. Honestly, when they put him as a Joker in Suicide Squad, that was a pure massacre of this actor's potential. I think he was capable of playing much better role in that movie, but I don't know why the fuck they fucked it up so badly. He was a terrible Joker. Honestly, as Michael Morbius, he was much better. I enjoyed his performance and everything he did in this movie. I think he did a great job as an actor, and he fits perfectly almost for this role. I really like his long black hair, and he really looks like some sort of a Dracula. He looks evil when he turns into this monster, but he's also trying to be a good man and help people. And I really love how through the entire movie he was a good guy, just trying to find a cure and help all these people who had the same blood disease that he had. But his pursuit of doing that, finding cure, just ended with him losing everything and becoming such a monster that he cannot really control. When you took it all together, he actually never found the true happiness in his life. And he was happy for a moment, and just when he thought that he finally made it and he's gonna help people find a solution to all these problems, he loses it all. And this is actually good because this movie explained that so well, and it fitted it so nicely with this character. This movie actually tells you the reason why this character became an anti-hero. There is a good freaking reason behind it. It's not that he just came into Marvel Universe like, hey, I'm gonna be an anti-hero now. No, it's not like that. There is something he cannot control that is making him an anti-hero, and that's what makes him pretty interesting anti-hero in my opinion. And Morbius was definitely an interesting character to me. I wasn't really familiar with him that much, and I'm kind of glad that he got his own solo movie that I really enjoyed. Something that I kind of didn't like a little bit about this movie is that once you see Milo coming to the lab and seeing Morbius all muscular and walking without canes, he realizes that he found the cure. He took the serum, and that's exact in that exact moment you figure out that Milo is gonna take the serum without his permission and that they're gonna fight. That part of the movie couldn't be more obvious and predictable, and I expected that's gonna happen, and that's exactly what happened. So I kind of don't appreciate the obviously there. It was pretty obvious what's gonna happen, and kind of killed that surprise element. I think they could have gone with a different approach where you couldn't expect that happening. And yeah, there is also one murder that happens in this movie. Of course, police through the entire movie is looking for Morbius because they realize that he's the vampire killing people and all that, and they want him badly. Obviously, they want to imprison him. But there is one specific scene where this woman gets murdered. She was very close with Morbius, and that's where the movie actually makes you think that Morbius killed her. But he did not. It was actually Milo who did it. And then for the moment, you think actually more of a Morbius like a villain. He just killed an innocent woman for no reason. I mean, again, he cannot control his thirst for blood, but doesn't make him right or good for doing that. But then after you realize it wasn't him who killed her, you feel a little bit better about that character. And I kind of appreciated that surprise element. So I was starting to think how bad Morbius actually is and how bad it is what he did to himself. But then in the second moment when I realized it was Milo who actually killed that woman, I was like, okay, he might not be that bad actually. And that again, plot just made it more interesting, when you realize Milo is now the bad guy. From the other side, Milo was pretty good villain. He was one of those villains that was portrayed pretty realistically in psychology. He was very hurt since the childhood. People, didn't like him because he was always different because of his blood disease and all that, and he was suffering for most of his life. Difference between Milo and Morbius is that Morbius became an anti-hero, and he found a way to deal with his grief. But Milo, from the other side, didn't want to deal with his grief. He used his grief as an excuse for the monster he became. He started talking how he was unnoticed by the people his whole life. Now he finally feels so powerful and healthy. He has all these superpowers now. He could never do things he can do now. Now he can climb buildings, fly, kill people, do whatever the hell he wants. He has all the power in the world, and I like that. I like how villain actually used to be a sweet innocent man suffering his entire life, and now finally when he has power in his hands, he just uses it the worst way possible, and that's what makes him so bad and great in the same time. I think he was a great villain. He was one of those villains who was made from the pain, and he was a great villain. I really liked Milo as a villain and Morbius, and I kind of feel he didn't deserve the fate he got in the end. But from the other side, if Morbius didn't kill him, yeah, he would never stop killing all other innocent people around the streets. I mean, they were not all innocent. There are some bad guys he killed who were total jerks and assholes, but just because they're jerks and assholes doesn't mean they deserve to die. And that's what makes difference between him and Morbius, even though Morbius still kills, right? Which is why he's anti-hero. Altogether, pretty cool movie. I liked it. I liked psychology behind it. I liked character psychology, and I liked the anti-hero elements and everything that was portrayed in this movie. CGI was on point. I really appreciate it. Again, Marvel did a good job with that. And yeah, if you're a fan of Marvel movies, and maybe if you read the comics where Morbius shows up for the first time or whatever, I think it was in Spider-Man comic or something where Morbius shows up as Spider-Man's nemesis and like a villain, full villain. Uh, yeah, you could check this movie out. I think you're gonna like it. I honestly liked it. I really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of Marvel Universe and characters and all that, and I'm always excited to see a new Marvel movie and all that. You know, it's pretty fun to me, and I enjoyed this movie. So yeah, pretty good movie. Watch it if you are a fan of these things and superheroes, anti-heroes, villains, all that. Check this movie out. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, guys, that's it for this movie review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then go ahead and leave a like, share, comment, or subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's totally okay. You can also join my Chris Facebook group. Link is down below in the description. I post all kind of stuff over there. Again, join if you want. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's totally okay. And thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate all of your support and everything you've done for me and my channel so far. You're amazing. I love you, and I'll definitely see you in the next videos. Chris out.